All right. So 1, 2, 3. Hello, everybody.
Hello,
and
everybody.
Welcome,
Hello, everybody.
Welcome to the
Welcome to
AUSNZ
the
podcast.
welcome to the AUSNZ Community Podcast.
Episode 10,
This is
Season 2.
episode 10 of Season 2.
Oh,
Come on,
Don't
JR, you've
wow,
got to
this is
finish it
hard.
off. You can't just sit there and...
I just freeze.
How about I've got a better idea. We'll all say it, and then you can mix it in editing.
All right, we'll try cheating. Okay. Hello,
Yep.
everybody, and welcome to the AUSNZ Community Podcast. This is episode 10 of Season 2. Take it away, Pete.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the AUSNZ podcast, episode 10 of Season 2.
JR.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the AUSNZ podcast. What was it again?
No more laughing gas for JR.
This was perfect. Oh, God.
No more laughing gas. No more laughing gas.
Do we need to write it down?
What did you say, Pete? The last one's season... Hindi. Episode 10
of Season 2.
Episode 10 of season. Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the AUSNZ podcast, episode 10 of season 2.
Well, now that I think we really stuffed that already, let's keep moving.
Yeah, let's do that.
I think it will take an hour to edit that part.
No, and then some. And then some.
If we've all got the same words, I don't know if I got it right.
All right. So I will try and compose myself now. G'day, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. And today is a special episode. We're going to do a little bit of a wrap up, something for a bit of fun. We wanted to look back at the last couple of episodes and give you our views on what's happened and where it's been and where it's come to and where we've come to as well. Also talk about some of our highlights and lowlights and all that sort of stuff. And give you our feedback on what we think we've done so far, and maybe an opportunity to open it up to you guys to give us some feedback as well as what we think we've done so far. So, JR, I think, so before I start, welcome to Pete and JR.
Hello.
Thank you. And welcome to you too. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy Australia Day.
Happy 2024.
Happy 2024. And lots of other things, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Now, JR, you had put together some stats for the podcast so far. So let's start with that, I think.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So first of all, I am glad to be back on the podcast. This is our first episode for 2024, and I have prepared a few stats for our avid listeners and first-time listeners as well. So the AUSNZ podcast started October of 2021. It's been
okay. Wow.
It's been more than 2 years. Yeah. And the first episode was released October 2022 of that year with AUSNZ Maury as the guest.
And I mean, Maury was the one who not only hosts the server and does all the other bits and pieces, but was kind of pivotal in the formation of AUSNZ, the AUSNZ community. So it was great to have him on as the first guest, I suppose.
Yes, it was a very nice episode, and also the original hosts were GTR, Eva and Pete, of course, and Alpha. You were the original host of this podcast, and then so we have the first season, which has 35 episodes. And then we have a second season, which is the current one, that has 9 episodes. a total of 44 episodes with 63 guests from 15 countries.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
That's
amazing
quite a
how,
lot.
yes, it is. It's amazing how we put people together in a
Mm.
podcast. Right?
Yep. Yeah. I mean, that was the one thing that I never thought we'd be able to do. The diversity
Mhm.
with language.
Yes.
The commonality across the game was, we could talk in game speak, but at the end of the day,
Yes.
to have to have guests that English was their second language or even third language,
Yeah.
was also was a pretty cool part of the podcast, and I really enjoyed having those people share their views,
Hmm.
seeing that the the background and in ethnicity didn't change the way they viewed the game.
Hmm.
Um, where you came from didn't mean you played the game differently to anybody else. It's a really cool aspect.
Mhm.
And for me, I think language is not a barrier when you play the same game, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So,
think it's
you know,
I think it's become less and
it's,
less of a barrier now.
yeah.
Yeah.
And even
The only
time zone.
barrier is for us in a podcast where we have to understand each other. But in the game, you
Yeah.
don't have to. You're playing
Hmm.
the
Yeah.
same game.
Yes. And actually, even the time zone difference is not a barrier.
Oh,
It is
that is a
fine to
barrier.
play. Yeah, it could be a challenge. I mean,
We've had a couple of guests fall asleep.
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
I
the
Some of
may
couple
them
have
of
fallen
were
guests was
asleep
an
once or
hour late,
twice.
but
mostly alcohol induced sleeps, but hey,
it's
um,
That's what
it,
it's
fun at
all
the end
about.
of it all,
well,
It
right?
is.
it is fun, and I think that's the thing that's kept us going the way we
Yes,
have gone.
yes,
We're here to
yes.
have a bit of a laugh at ourselves and a bit of laugh at other people, a bit of a laugh about the game, because at the end of the day, it is just a game, you know.
Hmm.
And it
Yeah,
doesn't stop us from reaching out to the coming guests, to other guests, whether whatever country you're from, whatever time zone you're in, we will make it work.
yep. And we have. I mean,
Yes.
that last that last episode with
Oh my God.
oh, what a mess. The last episode with Daspo and
Or
the people
Daspo.
from poor Daspo. I think we finished at 3 a.m. his time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
Um,
did.
and he was still he didn't fall asleep. I was very impressed. Um, yeah. Anyway, any more stats?
That's all that I have prepared, but I have also prepared a short game or a short
Okay.
questionnaire for the both of you. Okay?
Okay.
Are you
Are
ready?
you
Excellent.
are you going to
This is
answer these
just for
questions? Are you going to answer these questions as well?
if you have
I
no,
mean,
I
it's
will
only
not. I will
fair.
Oh, I like it. I like it. Do what I say, not what I do. Yeah, that's fine.
this is just for shits and giggles, like what Eva always says. Okay?
Yeah.
So
Sure.
there.
Okay.
The first question is, who are our first two guests from New Zealand?
Uh,
Oh,
I think
Okay, Eva, you go ahead first.
um, I think it is um, it was in the Young Stars episode, and the names are starting to flurry around. But the first New Zealand's were Lunatic, NZ, and oh god, um,
Pete, you can steal.
is it hyped?
Yes,
Lunatic and hyped.
I
yes.
was there. I was there.
I heard you say it. It was in. It was right on the tip of your tongue.
No.
We can see the
I
tip of
was
your
there.
tongue.
Oh
Come
well.
on, just it's just a silly game. Okay, next question. Name a guest from Greece.
Solus.
Solus.
Yes, correct. Name a guest from Italy.
Embao.
What about you, Pete?
Um,
There's
oh,
another one who's from Italy.
yeah, I'm trying to think. No, I'm going to cheat and say Mbao.
And the way you're
Okay,
supposed to
thank you.
say it, the way you're supposed to say it is M. It's meh. It's
Mbo.
literally the Italian version of meh.
Mhm.
I remember it's Mbo, not
Can you
Mbao.
guess the other one, Eva?
The other one. No, I can't
I'll
remember
I'll
this
give
one.
you a
I'm
clue.
trying to think of him.
This is from the tournament or the what do you call this? The custom track thing.
Oh, the custom tracks.
ICC.
Yeah? Okay. Which of
No, is it President?
yes,
No,
he's from Italy.
it is?
Yes.
Yeah, President was
Yes.
from Italy. Yep,
Yes.
yep.
Okay?
Yep.
Last
I got it
question.
after all.
Uh,
Because of the clue. Okay, last question. Name two Pit Crew podcast guests. You couldn't say the same answer. Okay. Pete, you go
Okay.
first.
Murray.
And
Oh, and can't say Solace, so I'm going to say Tulu.
mhm. Okay, what about you, Eva?
well, that leaves Daspo and Tessa as two easy ones.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So you have good memory after all. It's okay for your age.
For my age.
Oh,
Oh,
just to throw a little dagger at him.
yeah, that's all right. That's all right. That's all right. So who are you? Who are you again? Sorry.
You're all good, Jack Rabbit?
I'm so laughing. Sorry.
Oh well. So
And
Pete,
that's
have you prepared anything?
No questionnaires, no.
did you not prepare
I'm
your
trying to
team
think of
event? and
I'm trying to
public
think
event?
of one on the fly to ask Jack Rabbit. um,
Come on, bring it.
God, I can't even think. Who can you name all the community members from Fingersoft who have been on the podcast?
It's okay, FS Reese, FS SJ, FS David, and FS Sala.
Is that your final?
Did I miss anyone? Oh my god. I
No,
won't forgive
that's all
myself.
good.
Yes.
Uh,
Woohoo!
so yeah, Reese, SJ, Sala, and David. All good.
Oh,
I
good work.
prepare a lot of things on the podcast, so I know most of. I'm not trying to
Yep.
brag, but woohoo!
Have you got any questions for Jack Rabbit there, Eva?
No, don't
Yeah,
ask Eva.
I'm gonna throw her under the bus now. Who is your favourite other host?
Oh,
Oh my god! Can we not? Can we skip that? Mm.
this is a fun question.
This is a
It's
fun
shits and
question.
giggles, remember?
One of us is going to be upset, and one of us isn't. It's fine.
Okay, Pete is my favorite because he's the leader of Team 3, and I've been with him in the team for a long time.
I
And
understand.
Eva
It's okay.
is a good friend.
I understand. I get it.
Behind
I get it.
behind
It's
this.
okay. You don't have to
Oh,
explain. It's fine.
The beard,
I'm
isn't it?
Pete's got a
contagious.
beard. It's the beard. It's always been the beard.
But I love you both, honestly. You know, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the both of you.
I know, and I think you've made a really good contribution to this podcast. We really appreciate you being here.
Absolutely.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Very, very
So-
good.
So
Shall
now
we
that we've
start
had a little
talking about
group
some
hug,
of our
and we
favourite
can,
episodes and moments?
yeah, we can talk a bit
Yes.
of our favourite episodes and point out why they were our favourite episodes, I suppose. Who wants to go first?
Me.
Yes, go.
All right. So one of my all-time favorite episodes, and I always recommend it to people who are starting to listen to our podcast, is season 1, episode 4. It's our first episode with Fingersoft Reese.
Yep.
Yeah.
Reason why it's one of my favorites is because he threw a lot of stats at us that were Australia based, and I
Mhm.
found them very, very fascinating. I love stats.
Yeah.
Not only that, but after the episode was recorded, he actually gave us a few hints and tips on how to make things easier for ourselves, which has been a big help moving forward after that episode.
Well, he did that. He did that kind of after episode 1.
Yeah,
He
yeah, he's
reached
been
out
a big
to
help
us.
for us.
Yeah, he reached out to us after episode 1. He reached out to Maury and
Mhm.
gave us some tips, which um, we all jumped on board with, and yeah, it was a really great knowing that someone had people were listening, and that we had some really nice feedback, as well as some constructive criticism, which was great, which was exactly what we needed. We
Yeah,
were all
100%.
new to the podcast scene. We all didn't
Mhm.
know what we didn't know. Um, so yeah, it was a really good part. Really, really good to hearing that sort of comments and stuff like that.
Hmm. And it even started off, the whole episode started off with laughter.
It
I don't
did.
know if you remember, he
I
tried to
remember
ruin our
that.
intro. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was good.
Yeah. I like that episode because it was that time when he announced Maury as the pit crew.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is
Yes.
another great reason why it was a good episode.
Yeah.
Like one of
Um,
our own in the AUSNZ community as a pit crew is a huge thing.
yeah.
It's a big
Yeah.
deal,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yep. Yep.
And his involvement in the later Fingersoft GPs and a few other things, to me has always been pretty cool.
Mhm. All right, who wants to go next?
JR, you go.
Me. I will go next. My first episode that really like actually I like all episodes as you all know because I'm a big fan of the podcast before I started hosting. But this is the first episode that I really, really liked and I laughed so much. It was the new Chaos episode. We have Jordan, Devastator, and Lupin as the guests of that episode.
That
And
was a great episode.
yes,
Was.
if the listeners don't know, the new Chaos team is now the Empire team, right?
So
It
that
is.
was, just in case you're listening, that was episode
Yeah.
15 of season 1.
Mhm. It was really nice because Jordan shared a lot of his leadership ideas and leadership styles, that he shared into the other leaders of the community. And it was in this episode where the Never Have I Ever Hill Climb Racing 2 edition was first done in this episode. So I was laughing so much.
I
They
thought
were all
it was.
competitive. And yes, it was. It was.
Yeah, I thought it was that one. I
Yep.
wasn't
It was this
100%
one.
sure.
It was
Yeah.
this one. I know. Yeah. It was this. From what I can remember.
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah.
And
Well, I have the Never Have I Ever.
Jordan spoke
Yeah.
very well. I think he was born to do podcasting. Don't you
Yeah.
think?
He's a good speaker. Yeah.
Definitely.
Hmm.
Sorry, what were you going to say, Eva?
I was looking at the Never Have I Ever sheet. Oh, that was
Hmm.
done before I had the spreadsheet. So
Mm.
I didn't, that's right. We did that I was recording that in Adelaide.
Mm.
Yeah, I was in Adelaide recording that. So I recorded everything on a bit of paper. All the episode for episode 15. Yeah, but it did start in episode 15.
Hmm.
Yep, yep, yep,
It
yep,
was just such a fun episode, having multiple guests in one episode also.
yep. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that was always. It's always a bit tricky with, when you've got 7 channels to edit.
Yeah.
When you've got 7 channels to edit, you're listening across 7 channels and going, okay, what did he say? What did they say? who was responding to who, and then you've got the latency between the channels because
Mhm.
someone's from the US or someone's from Philippines or someone's from a backwater in the middle of
Canada or
nowhere,
whatever. Yeah,
and
Australia.
the backwater, that's us. And it's kind of like trying to understand who was talking to whom at the
Mhm.
time, and he like,
Mhm.
oh, that's funny. Oh, that's really funny. Okay, I'm gonna keep that. Um,
Mhm.
so yeah, there's a whole lot to the editing that is
Mhm.
missed by that what isn't seen. But yeah, with 4 or 5 people plus the 3 of us, it can get very hectic in editing.
Mhm.
Yeah, it can
And
get very hectic.
wasn't that episode the first episode where we had someone fall asleep on us?
It was, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember who it was. I'm not going to name any names, but
Yeah,
yeah, I'm pretty sure
yeah.
that was our first episode to have that
You don't
happen.
want to name any names.
I'll let people find out for themselves.
Yeah. They should listen. They should listen to the episode.
Oh, jeez. Well, is that all we wanted to say about? Oh, hang on, and the bad Agent 86 impression. That was me trying to be Agent 86, and I failed miserably.
I remember that. That was a
Yeah.
little awkward because some people didn't know what you were talking about.
No, I had no idea. I was born well too young. Well too young. The Agent 86 impersonation just went right over their head.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Mm.
So, look, I'm not going to do my best one first. I'm going to leave the best one till last because otherwise
Okay.
people will just stop listening after the best 3. You see,
Okay.
Smart.
smart. You see, now
Mhm.
Read Maxwell.
my first one is probably going to be the one that wasn't my favorite, but it's the one I talk about the most when people say, "You do a podcast," and I say, "Yeah, I do a podcast." And they're like, "Oh, what is it about?" I'm like, "Well, it's about a community of people that play this game and blah blah blah." And we talk about, and you can see their eyes roll back, and you go, and we talk about things that matter, And um, we had Inno on the podcast. Inno is one of the players from the AUSNZ community, and we talked a lot about, are you okay? And
Mhm.
not just about asking the question of, are you okay? But, when you do ask the question, being prepared for someone to turn around and say, no, I'm not okay. And,
Mhm.
and when you say that to someone who's, oh, you do a podcast about a car racing game, and you say, no, we talk about serious stuff, we have in-depth in-depth conversations about stuff that matters and
Mhm.
people and how they affect the community. And Inno was one of the first. We had a couple before that. I mean, Boulder and a few others
Daspo, I
before
think, was
that.
another one.
Daspo as well. Um,
Yep.
but for me, the Inno episode. If you are listening, sorry, that is episode 20. Um, we talked a lot about are you okay, and what to do if someone says no, because asking are you okay is half the battle. Being
Yeah.
prepared to answer, oh, you're
Mhm.
not okay. Okay, what can we do about that? That's more important.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
um, and that's why I like to talk about that episode, because it was the episode for me that made me think we're no longer talking just about a game, and we're no longer being
Mhm.
a bunch of idiots having a bit of a laugh and laughing at each other. We were starting to have some really in-depth communications and
Hmm.
conversations.
Yep, I
Yes.
agree with that.
Yes.
It's not just about the game; it's about the community, and
Yeah,
the community
Mhm.
needs to look
That's
after
so
their
true.
fellow members. So,
yeah,
yes.
yeah, indeed, indeed. And I remember at the end of that, we all kind of said, down our heart, if you are going through something and you do need someone to talk to, I at the point put my hand up and said, I'm happy to listen to anybody, non-judgmental, listen to anybody, and be a rock if they need it. And that hasn't changed. So, yeah.
You rock, Eva.
I remember in Ino's episode, I asked the question, um, if you will ever have a cook-off with anyone in the AUSNZ Discord server, who would it be, or something like that? What would you prepare? It's asking a question, um, going beyond the game. It's
Yes.
because one of Ino's passion is barbecue and cooking.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was. I think it was a fun
Oh my
response
god,
from Ino.
that picture that he posted,
Yeah,
that
which
brisket that
of
he
them?
posted the other day. My god.
The
The
sexy meat?
what was it, about 7 kilo brisket of Wagyu beef. Oh my god, it looked
Oh, I didn't
delicious.
see that. Oh God.
He posted a video of him slicing it and all the juice just poured out. It was good.
Oh, jeez. Look that I'm hungry now.
It would have been so tasty. Yeah, I haven't had lunch, so I'm pretty hungry too.
I had a late breakfast, so yeah. Now
Me too, yeah.
I'm gonna salivate for the next hour. You know that.
And he posts a lot of good food that he makes. So kudos to Ino.
He does.
Thank you for sharing those things to the community.
And he gets his kids involved too, so that's good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Pete, you're up.
Oh, yep. I just got to wake my phone up because it's gone black. Second. Alrighty, what have we got here? Shall we talk about season 1, episode 35 with Alice, also known as Lapita?
Lapita.
Lapita. That is one of my favorite episodes.
You've got to explain what Lapita means.
I honestly cannot remember.
I'm never going to forget this.
Yeah, what is it?
His dad named him Lapita. And he said,
okay,
it was, you're like a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And I just went, oh my God. That is hilarious. And hence why I've never forgotten it. Because it's just like, yep, that's funny. That's funny.
And that's the thing. He was such a funny guy.
Mm-hmm.
He was so great to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then listening to him
go on.
talk about his videos.
Yes. Exactly.
And we got to watch them, and they were hilarious.
Absolutely hilarious. Like, you did what with what?
And homemade videos of Hill Climb Racing's strats.
Yep.
That was so
Yeah.
But live action, so he was doing them himself.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't computer generated.
Using scooter and bikes.
They had a storyline.
It was quite funny.
Which was really well done.
It does.
But I think
I wish we could
I
wish we could share them.
I think the most amazing part of that was not only did he speak English and Swedish, but he then turns around and talks to you in Tagalong.
Yes, it was so cool, to be able to talk to another person from another side of the world, knowing that, we speak the same language. That's
and
at a certain degree.
Yeah, the reason for that was because he was a seaman.
Yeah.
And he'd learned it on the boats.
He learned it from
seaman. Gotcha.
Yeah.
It's above the belt, all right? Above the belt.
I'd say, would he be a sailor?
Okay.
Sailor.
He was a sailor and he was at sea, yes.
Yep.
And all that he could see
was this. Oh my God, that's not.
and now you know why we just get along.
In a little while, we'll be talking total eclipse of the heart.
Oh, jeez. Let's not go there. Let's not go there. Every now and
going
then.
back, going back.
Let's not go there.
No.
And
So, what else about Alice was a good episode, Pete?
Well, that's pretty much all I've got.
Okay.
I was hoping that you guys would help fill me up.
No, I think we've done it justice.
yeah, yes, I
Yep.
think so. It was just a good episode. And I
Was.
think it's my turn. I would say that this is another memorable episode for me. It's the Fingersoft community managers when we had FS Reese, FS David, and FS Sala.
Yep. So, for those listening at home, that was season 2, episode 2.
You know why it? Yeah.
And what was the most? I mean, my little note on Spotify says, with lots of scoops.
Mm.
This is an exciting episode because from the beginning, we kept it hidden. We kept it a secret. We kept it under. Did right? We did.
Well, we did, and not only that, we closed down the server. We kicked people off. We
We changed
removed
roles in the server.
we removed people's roles, and like all the while, people thought they're just being assholes.
Why am I not this anymore?
Yeah, why can't I see that channel anymore? And
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah, right.
yeah. It's because we're just
We're doing
prepping
something secretive.
Mhm.
for something like
Min-
that.
We can do that.
yeah. We're just
So for
cleaning up
those
the
who
server,
haven't,
that's all.
for those who haven't listened to this episode, it's gonna be worth your while because listening to the Fingersoft community managers is very much worth listening to because they share a lot of their, how they work for Fingersoft, and then it was in this episode where they talked about the update, and when the episode was released, everyone was excited. This is the episode where they talked about the custom tracks,
Yep.
right? And
Yep.
then even me, I was so excited. I said, I'm going to get VIP as soon as I can. And okay, honestly, I haven't made a custom truck.
I'll edit that out. I'll edit that out.
No, you don't have to. I will admit it to the whole community. I haven't made the track.
No, I'm staring. I'm not going to edit it out.
Yeah, but that's okay. I don't. I tried, and I
I think
tried
that will
Eva's
be the
custom.
episode, the name of the episode, I think. I haven't made a track.
I haven't made a track. Yeah.
Oh my god.
JR breaks promises all the time.
Oh good. Okay. What about you both? What did you really enjoy that episode?
I'll let you go first, Pete.
Yeah, all right. So I enjoyed listening to their background story, like what they did previously to working at Fingersoft, where they were both from. That was pretty cool to hear that David's from Canada
you're talking
originally.
about FS David and FS Sulla.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because they were new to us and new to the community, and we kind of got to interrogate them the first.
Yes.
Yeah, it was good fun.
Yes.
It was pretty cool to hear their background story, and the fact that Salah just happened to drop a few bombs without Reese knowing that she was going to drop them. that was fun.
That was hilarious.
You will know how spontaneous people are on the podcast. You will just see how spontaneous things can go.
Yeah, and you see, I mean, it was a great episode, right? For the fact that we had, the scoops, and we had this and we had that and we had all this amazing stuff. And yet the only thing I remember about this episode is we had an error in our recording and the backup didn't work. And, we had the Sulla, divulging something that was and the moment was just hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. If I could replay that, I would have loved to have replayed that because it was absolutely hilarious, and we lost it forever, and I was devastated,
Aw.
really devastated,
Yeah.
because we'd done everything, with recording, and then the backup, and the backup failed, and I'm just getting there going, oh my god, but like for that one bit that we lost, there was so many other laughs that I shouldn't dwell on it, but I do. But there was just so many laughs. We had David in stitches, we had Sulla in stitches, and Reese. We talked about someone wanting to be unbanned, and it was pretty much no.
Yeah.
Let me think about it. No.
Yeah. No, I don't know them. No.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a really good episode, and it was probably our biggest listened to episode as well, which was pretty
Mm.
cool. So I was
We got a
it was
very, very decent plug from the Fingersoft people on
yeah,
that episode.
yeah. So no, it was quite. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it, and I
Yes,
really enjoyed. Go on.
and I remember after this episode, the Halloween day after this
Yes,
episode, they had a live stream.
yes,
They
Was the
have
day
a they.
after, was it?
I can't. No, I think a few
I think it might have
days
been
or
the
something.
next week.
Yeah. So they have
Can't
a
remember.
live stream and they dressed up in their costumes according to their avatars in game. And then I remember I did wrote in the comment, hello from the AUSNZ podcast crew, and they read my comment. So
yes,
it's like they remembered us from what
Hmm.
we have done. Yes, so that's very cool. I find it very nice.
yeah. It is very cool. It is very cool. Hmm.
And I'm pretty sure they got the idea of doing that live stream from doing our podcast.
They had a
Possibly.
practice on the podcast.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe we could do this because we got the podcast right.
Well, video live stream. I must say, video live stream is a whole lot harder.
Yeah.
There's more moving
Everybody
parts.
needs to be. They need to have computers, and I do not.
There's more moving parts, and not only there's more moving parts, but there's so many more things that can go wrong.
So there's no way we could do what they did.
If we were all in the same room,
Yeah. If we're all in the same room, it's not so bad.
Okay, I will move to Australia. I will catch the next flight. I will break my
Excellent.
piggy
I'll
bank.
pick you up from the airport.
I'll break my piggy bank. Oh god.
I'll put you up in my spare room.
Not in one of the cabinets. I will fit.
His couch is pretty comfortable.
Yeah, the couch is pretty.
Yeah. I can sleep on the couch.
No, all good. All good.
Where were we? Going back.
So where were we? Is that my turn again?
Yeah, it is. It is your turn.
Well, I was going to talk about the episode we had with both Andre and Dark Smoke. Now they are both mods on the server, on the Fingersoft server, and
Moderators on Fingersoft, yeah.
Yeah, moderators on the Fingersoft server, and there's a little bit of hatred to one of them. I'm not going to say who or what, because he's the person who banned someone or whatever, and all that sort of stuff. And Andre actually does play on one of them, or Andre plays on one of my teams, on the team that my old's on with Tessa. And we got to find that these guys were just regular people. They had, they were normal people that just like to laugh and all that sort of stuff. It's episode 33, by the way, just in case. But they were just genuine, normal people who liked the community, loved the community, and being part of the Discord server mods meant they had a different view of the game, and it was great to get their perspective as well as finding out they're just normal people. And my favorite comment, my favorite ever response to the question that was it, who was it? Resq? No. What was that
Rexy.
guy? No, who? Rexu was the first person to ask this question, and it's pretty much been asked on every single episode. What is your favorite cheese? And I'm trying to remember whether it was Andre or Dark Smoke, but one of them said, "I love them all." So
I think that might have been Andre.
I think it might have been Andre.
Oh no,
So
I can't remember now.
we ended up giving them their own cheese roll on the server. So they basically got their own cheese roll, which was all cheese roll, as opposed to just, being a podcast guest or a podcast host or a podcast whatever. He got the...
Was it called? It was called Not Cheese Roll.
Yes, that's the one.
Yep. And it was Andre.
And it was Andre. Yeah, I thought so. I was pretty sure. So yeah, I mean that was a bit of a laugh, but to find that they were just normal people, Yeah.
Well, normal. I don't know if you've ever seen Dark Smoke on the mono wheel. That's not normal.
Fair call. Fair call.
He is too good.
They have superpowers.
Yes. When I did the Mono Wars competition, he was always up there in the top 3.
Yep. Yeah. Well, he did finish in the top 4.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But he was going to forfeit his prize if he did happen to win anyway. So I think he threw the last match on purpose.
Oh, there you go.
But that's not confirmed.
That's not confirmed. Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. Pete, another episode for you?
Yes, I've got another Fingersoft episode 25. This particular episode is funny for me because we had Reese and SJ for the first time. And SJ seemed to fall asleep. And when we asked him a question, he was like, what yeah. Yeah, it was funny. I thought it was quite hilarious.
I remember on that
Did you guys have
episode-
anything on that? Yeah.
I remember on that episode when they were asked a few questions, they answered either a yes or a no.
Yeah, short answers.
Yeah, I remember asking why the mono wheel sounds like an electric car, but picks up fuel cans, not batteries.
Mm-hmm.
And the answer was yes. So, but I think my favorite quote from that episode, I ended up using in the title on Spotify, which was when we asked about, why are the hackers and the cheats so prevalent, and why can't we do something about them? And Reese responded, "It's like fighting Hydra. You ban one, and 7 more take its place."
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was probably the funniest response to what can we do about cheating I've ever heard.
Yeah. And a little bit of pop culture in there while he was at it.
Oh yeah, and then some. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very much. I mean, he's a pop culture mad person, so it's always good to.
He is.
It's always good to get a bit of fun.
I mean, he
It's really
names every event with some sort of pop culture reference, so he
Yep.
loves it.
Yep.
it's a really good content when Reese is a guest of an episode.
Mm.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Maybe that's where we should go next. No. What about you,
My
JR?
turn.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is another memorable one for me, where we had Minstrel and X236 on
Yes.
the podcast.
Yes.
I forgot what episode number this was.
It was episode
31.
31, wasn't it? Yeah,
Episode
episode
31.
31.
Yep.
Yeah. Because it's memorable for me because this is the first episode where I was the lead host. And I am I was very nervous because I had so much anxiety before the recording, because as everyone know, English is not my first language, and I wanted to the episode to be
Sure.
like
You
going
speak it so
smoothly.
well.
Well, right now I think I have improved because we've been doing this for a while, so I got comfortable. And then I used to make a script. This is what I will do first. This is what I will say next, and all of that. But anyway, Minstrel is a great leader, and she leads her team with very much passion. That's how I would put it. And X236 is also a leader or a co-leader from Stormo, and they are both leading the Club of Leaders server, which I think is very helpful for all leaders and co-leaders of the Hill Climb Racing community. They both share their leadership styles. They help other leaders to become better leaders, and they pass on information to everyone. I think
Yeah.
the Club of Leaders server is a very nice server. So that's why it is memorable for me.
Well, it was
Yep.
memorable for me because
Hmm.
I made the decision right at the last minute to say, "Hey, do you want to do it?
Yeah.
Do you want to be the lead host?" And it was kind of tongue in cheek because I honestly thought you could do it, but I didn't want to pressure you too much
Yeah.
before the podcast because I didn't want you to feel like, "Oh my God, what do I have to do? What do I have to do?" But I figured
Yeah.
if I threw you under the bus at the start, you would rise to the occasion and do really well, which you did, and I was really impressed.
Did
It
very
was,
well. Yep.
yeah, it was.
It wasn't perfect. I made a few mistakes, and I even forgot that X236 was a member of our previous team. So it was embarrassing and also funny at the same time. So,
Well, I mean, look, the best thing about all the stuff that we do is
Mhm.
a lot of what we say isn't scripted. A lot of it isn't rehearsed or practiced. Yeah, we
Mhm.
do edit the podcast, but over the last 20 episodes, I've been doing less and less editing, and I've been I've been doing less and less editing and more laughing as I edit.
Yep.
And I'm really
Well,
impressed with how far
it's
we've
pretty
come.
evident that we don't practice by our intro today.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, and I mean the other part of that episode that I really enjoyed was listening to both Minstrel and X236 talk about their community, talk
Mhm.
about the Club of Leaders, and talk about how they wanted to play the game to play the game, not to play the game to win, just to play the
Mhm.
game to enjoy themselves. And
Yeah.
part of that was, you know, getting leaders on Club of Leaders to do less, filtering of who's who and who's bad, who's good, and do more, work and actually playing the game and actually enjoying, leading people in a great team.
Mhm. Yeah.
Mm. Mm. So does that mean
that particular episode, I really enjoyed how much Jackrabbit came out of her shell.
yes?
Previous to that episode, she didn't really say a lot.
Yeah.
Kept her segments kind of short and sharp, and that was good. That
Yeah.
episode, she really came out of her shell, and I quite enjoyed that.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she did.
Mhm.
Oh. It's a good learning, doing this. It's been an amazing and a good way to learn and to improve myself,
Yep.
if you know what I mean. So yeah, and of course it's even easier because you have both made me just be natural, just speak your mind and all of that. Sometimes I have the things I say have to be bleeped out, like the one from Hulkster, if I could, but it wasn't. Anyway, but so yeah, I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying doing the podcast with you.
Yeah, we enjoy doing it with you too. It's good fun.
Yes,
Wouldn't have
Yeah,
it any other way.
indeed.
exactly. Whose turn is it?
It is my turn
It is your
now.
turn, Eva. Okay.
It is my turn now. I'm going to talk about the Solus bot and Solus, and having Solus
Mm.
on the podcast. He sorry, I'm scrolling to find the episode number. It was episode 17 for all those listening, if you want to go back. Solus, if you're not aware of who Solus is and what he does, he created the bot that helps
Bill.
do a whole lot of. Yeah, he created Bill, the Bill bot that basically helps moderate the Fingersoft server, and there's iterations of him all over Discord servers around, and all of the work that he's done with this bot is what made him pit crew, which is
Mhm.
deserved. But what I suppose the takeaway that I got from the Solus episode was he enjoys doing that programming as much as he enjoys playing the game. So, and programming is not fun, not for me.
No, it's not for me
Um,
either.
and the fact that he absolutely loves it, like absolutely loves it. It's what he gets up to do. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And you could hear that in his voice. You could hear that when he talked about it.
Mhm.
And his English was great. A Greek
His
player.
Greek was even better.
Yeah, I didn't understand a word, but that's all right because I still don't speak Greek yet. I don't even know how to say I don't speak Greek. But yeah, it was really great to have him on because to hear the background behind things like the Solar Spot and Bill, Cyber Bill, and how it works, or not so much how it works, but the fact that he created it to make the community better
Hmm.
is a really, really cool place to be from.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, yeah. You guys remember anything about that?
Just the fact that he was an episode guest and he was from Greece. No, I was supposed to listen back on a few episodes, but I didn't reach that one, so my memory's not that sharp on it. Sorry.
No, that's all right.
How about you, Jack Rabbit?
I wasn't hosting yet.
But you were listening.
I am
We all know
listening, but
you were listening.
I always listen. I listen to each and every episode, but my memory is not really helping me right now.
Yes, same.
All good.
Mm-hmm.
All
All
right.
good.
I suppose I should probably steal one of your ones, Eva. because I haven't
Sure.
got any others left. So I'm going to steal the Vocope episode, mainly because the doctor, our translator, was fantastic. I thought that was such a great addition to our podcast, and yeah, the way she spoke with Vocope and then translated it in English was just so good, smooth. Yeah, really enjoyed it. How about you guys? You got anything to add on to the Vocope episode?
You
I
first.
remember this episode was the announcement of this episode was really exciting. Okay, so I was waiting for any of you to announce it, but in the end, I did the announcement, and um, I hyped it up a little bit. So that was really cool. And then um, a lot of people really gave questions on
Yep.
this episode. You know, a lot of members in the community gave their questions to this episode, so that's why it's really interesting. So yeah, that's what it made it memorable for me.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And he was our first big YouTuber
Yeah.
to be on the episode on the podcast, which is a
Mhm.
pretty big deal.
Yeah. I mean, do we talk about the fact that there were certain people in our community that didn't want to have him on because he was known as a cheater?
We could, but I don't think we should.
Well, I just did.
We have that, but it doesn't stop us. Okay, we have those people, but it won't stop us from having this kind of player who has contributed a lot of who's made contributions in the community from his YouTube episodes,
Mm.
right?
And I
So
must say,
they were
he has some of the best tutorials on the market.
yes, exactly. Mhm.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
What
He,
episode was it? I can't remember. It was season 2, episode
Season 2, episode
4,
6.
6.
season
Thank
2,
you.
episode 6. Now, the one thing about Natalia, the doctor, that we spoke about after, and I shared this with you, we never talked about it on the podcast, was she would be translating our questions into, the spoken natural Russian, and then, transfer, and then he would respond in his own Russian, and she would then translate that into spoken English. It wasn't word for word. It was generalized. Her translations were generalized. Now, one of the questions, if you listen to the episode and you go, hang on a second, they spoke for like 6 minutes. And she said, yes. And it was the question about where do you live? And they spoke at length about where he lived in Russian. And the conversation wasn't exactly his address. It was more so the fact that because he is in the Ukraine, and that was her response. Her response was in the Ukraine. That's where he lives, in the Ukraine. Was because he, if he is found where he is, the Ukrainian government could basically either get him to join the military or lock him up. He's
Mhm.
of age where he's old enough to be either in the military or locked up, and he didn't want to be either. So when the question was asked, "Where do you live?" he explained that and said, "I don't really want to tell you where I live because of this and this and this, and because of the issues with the Ukraine at the moment and everything else. I'd rather not say where I live. So can you just tell them that I live in the Ukraine?"
Mhm.
And she said that to me afterwards, and I went, "Oh, of course, that makes so much sense." But it made more sense looking back as I was editing it, going, "Oh, hang on, they did. They spoke for like a minute and a half each, and then at the end, she turns around, and she goes, "He lives in the Ukraine." And I went, oh, that makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, really good translator.
Yeah.
And to remember what somebody has said, even though she doesn't play the game, she still nailed it. Like,
Yep.
I think there was only one time where she was translating Russian and she translated it back into Russian to us.
Yes.
That only happened once. I don't know if I'd be able to do that.
Yeah. No, it was
I would
good.
have stuffed up way more.
She enjoyed it a lot, I must say. And I think she enjoyed the red wine a whole lot more.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I got her a nice bottle of red from the Barossa.
Is that a bottle shop or?
No, the Barossa is the Barossa Valley in Adelaide.
Ah, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. No, I got a really nice bottle of red from the Barossa Valley. We'd just come back from the Barossa Valley as it was, or just come back from Adelaide as it was.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
What?
Yeah. Anyway, JR, you got one more episode?
This episode is really epic. Okay, listen up. I haven't I haven't talked about it, but I'm already laughing. This episode is epic. Okay, because as an avid fan of the podcast, before I started hosting, I had this idea, I had this suggestion, and I had this request. I posted this. This is a little backstory. I posted this on the podcast suggestions channel. What I suggested was to have a first year anniversary special episode with GTR, Eva, Pete, and Alpha as the guests. And thank God you made my dream come true. Okay? Because you know,
GTR, you are not the host.
you have been, I forgot what episode this was. You have been interviewing a few people relevant to the community. So what I thought was, why not put the four of you on the hot seat? Right? So have the community members and the members of the OSNC server ask questions. And then you tell your history about the game and all of that. This is really exciting. And then I was asked to host on this episode, and I was like, I wasn't comfortable yet at the time, and also Maury and Goose came in to guest on this episode. So it was really funny because GTR keeps forgetting that he was a guest. He thinks that he was still hosting and all of that, and it was just, to be able because I looked up to you when I was just a small person in the server, hearing you on the podcast and all of that. So it was really nice. I'm sure it's not only for me, but also for everyone on the OSNC community.
It was episode 23, just for everybody listening in.
23? It was 23 already? Wow.
Yeah, our first year anniversary special.
Yes, October of 2022.
Well, the other thing about that episode was GDR forgot how to count. Because he was asked, what's your favorite, who's your biggest celebrity you've ever...
Yeah, name one like this.
Name one celebrity, and he got to about 4, and Maury's like, no, mate, it's just one.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, yeah, it was a bit of a laugh. And I think we enjoyed it being on the other side for a bit of fun, because it meant that we could have a laugh at ourselves.
Yeah. And feel the nerves that everybody else felt.
Yeah,
not knowing what was coming next.
Yeah.
Also, I remember before we brought you in as guest, right? We had the pre-chat. And we talked about, the three of us talked about the previous episodes. So I said, oh my God, my memory should be helping me right now, but I'm trying to recall the previous episodes. And, you know, I survived.
Yep.
So,
It was a really
Yeah,
great episode.
it was a very not well. It was fun, but it was also daunting at the same time. Yeah, good fun though.
yes,
And
certainly.
Goose, Jackrabbit, and Murray did a fantastic job as hosts and trying to keep GTR back in line.
Yeah, I must say. Although the one thing about
Mhm.
having Goose on the podcast was, I mean, I'll never forget this. I say this all the time, but my favourite thing about Goose on the podcast was the fact that we called him a male escort.
Yeah, postman.
The postman being a male escort. And I mean, I got to thank Dreddy for that. I'm not going to take any credit for that because it was Dreddy's question.
Yes.
You know, would you be okay with being called a male escort instead of a postman? And I thought that was hilarious, and I've used it to this day. I've just kept laughing at people when I tell them that.
Yep.
Hmm.
Alrighty. Last one for Eva.
Well, you kind of stole my thunder. I was going to talk about the
I
vocab
did.
episode.
I'm sorry.
That is fine. That is fine. My second favourite last episode was actually talking to someone a bit left of centre. I'd only just heard about her through the Club of Leaders, and we'd started chatting remotely, and I played on one of her teams for Canada, Team Canada, for a month just for some fun, and it was all about Lady Ain. She, um, she talked about the way she played the game and the way she was leading the Canadian team and all this other stuff, but the thing that made it a little bit different was the fact that she actually um, has a serious blindness. Her field of view is quite small, the equivalent of looking through a straw. Looking forward and looking through a straw only. You don't have any peripheral view, and yet she plays the game quite well. She's quite a good player. Um, and how that affects her everyday life as well as playing the game. But I think the thing that got me the most was, and this was, sorry for all those people listening at home, Lady Ain was episode 3 of season 2. She went to, she's originally from Canada, obviously, and she went to live in France to learn a bit more French. And she came for the language and ended up meeting the love of her life and lives there permanently. So it just goes to show that your lot in life isn't set. It happened later in life for her, and there's hope for everybody, I suppose. So yeah, I just thought it was a great little episode because we learnt a lot about someone who was just a normal person in the community, but had a whole lot of adversity playing the game and living life, but had the most wonderful view of life. And you could hear that in the episode. It's well worth a listen.
Hmm.
So yeah, by all means, have a listen.
Yeah, I agree with that. That was a very fun episode
Yeah.
and
Yes.
informative to find
Yes.
out how somebody with a vision impairment is still
Mhm.
able to play a mobile game. Like she explained it as constantly looking back and forth at the screen to be able to see the whole screen. So yeah, people talk about phone and tablet ratios just to see more. I don't think it would make much of a difference for her. The smaller the screen, the better.
Yep.
So, yep.
And
That
yes,
was
what about
very insightful.
what I like about her episode is that, Lady Anne overall as a person and leading her team at that time, to have a female leader in the team will give you a different vibe. The the game becomes more fun. The game becomes
What are
more.
you trying to say?
I'm not trying to say anything. But if there's active female player in the game, whether it's a leader or a co-leader, you know, they just bring a different vibe. Period. I will not say anything else, Pete.
Oh, geez. Sounds like she's trying to get you
Backpedal?
banned, Pete.
She's trying to backpedal, I think.
No, because actually it's not just Lady A. We also had Tay. She's the co-leader of Boss, and
Yes.
in her team, in the Massholes team, we have Michelle and the other female, and Tessa, of course.
Tessa, yep.
Just yeah.
And I must say, now that you've mentioned Tessa,
Mhm.
Tessa's episode was amazing, don't get me wrong. But something that I've kept quite quiet to myself was that over the last couple of weeks, Tessa has finally gotten her way to Australia and done a little bit in Melbourne, a little bit in Sydney, a little bit in the Alice Springs, a little bit in all over Australia. And we had originally spoken about if she came to Australia, I'd pick her up from the airport and do the Great Ocean Road with her and all that sort of stuff. So, long story short, basically, she did make it to Australia. We ended up having dinner and going for a drive. Going for a walk along South Bank in Melbourne, and with her and her sister. It was a lovely night, and it was really amazing to actually meet her face to face. And I wanted to say thank you for the hat. She gave me a Climb Canyon hat, thanks to Fingersoft and to Tessa. So, yeah, it was one of those things. I really didn't think I'd ever meet her personally, but
Yeah.
it was really, really great. Yeah, really, really great.
Excellent. Little mobile games bringing people together.
From around the
Yes.
world.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
still hopeful to meet you both someday
Well, we could.
before I
We'll get there. We'll get there.
I get there. In
Yeah,
the
we'll
next 5 years, in the next
get.
10 years, in the next before we have grandkids.
No, definitely,
Anyway, so
no, definitely,
yeah,
definitely.
it's been
And
fun.
just because we haven't mentioned your episode or an episode that you've listened to and liked doesn't mean we haven't enjoyed it, doesn't mean we didn't get a kick out of it, doesn't mean anything like that. It's basically we're just trying to pick some of our favorite episodes, and we hope that you'll have a listen to us and go, oh, I never heard that one, or maybe go back and have a listen for yourself. And then if you are listening and you have gotten this far, um, comment on which is your favorite episode. Share your experience, because we are always looking to improve this program, this podcast, and the more we can get from you guys as our audience, as an understanding of what's important to you, um, the more we can look forward to giving you more of what you want. So yeah. All right. Well, thanks very much, JR and Pete, for sharing your thoughts on what we've done so far. I've had a really enjoyable time.
And thank
But
you for
before
letting me steal one of yours.
but before we say goodbye, can I just ask a
Uh-oh.
very quick question? Just a
Sure.
quick
Yes.
question. What is your most fondest memory of the podcast,
Hmm.
Eva?
Oh, put me on the spot. Um.
Hello,
My
Buzz.
fondest, yeah,
You look good from under here.
yeah. Been here before.
Yeah.
I think my fondest memory of the podcast would be a mixture of. I think it's just the reach we've had. It's not just one
Mm.
episode. It's not one person. It's
Yeah, yeah.
knowing that there are people listening all over the world. And we are a really, really, really niche podcast. But to have people comment and the listeners commenting on what and how and all of that sort of stuff, that really, to me, is my takeaway, my bit that I love the most, because it's a lot of work from all of us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I do the editing, but you guys do a lot of the cultivating and the people organizing, and
Mm-hmm.
we all put in to make this what it is, and I appreciate what you guys do. And I'm sure you appreciate what I do, but what I'm
Yes.
trying to get at is it's a team effort, and I really appreciate the team.
Well said. Well
Speaking
said.
of team effort,
Mm-hmm.
my fondest memory, well, not really a memory, it's more of a fact. The community reach that we have, like the amount of input that our little community puts into each episode with their questions to the guest,
Ah,
um,
yes.
comments on our general podcast channels, like, oh, when's the next podcast coming?
Yep,
Yes.
That's just really nice to know that people look forward to listening to new episodes.
yep,
Yeah.
And also
So
the
thank you,
number of
everybody.
listeners and
Hmm.
subscribers.
yes,
And
Yeah.
the heat zone map, is that what you call it, Eva?
yeah.
Like,
The heat map.
yeah.
Yeah,
The heat map. Yeah. So it's really great. What I like the most in doing the podcast is what we do behind the scenes. Each episode is different because we have different guests from different countries. So as much as challenging as it is, inviting a guest, being turned down by a by a person that you want to invite, okay, bringing them to the server and organizing the dates and the time, I find it really challenging and motivating at the same time, if you get what I mean. So, and to
yes,
be,
yes, I do.
if for me, it's more challenging than the actual recording itself. Don't
Yeah,
get me wrong, the recording is fun, but behind the scenes, it's we will get you to do this episode. It's going to be fun trying to convince them that they did good. They will do excellent and all of that thing. So this is not what our listeners, this is not what they see, but it's for me, it's very fulfilling.
Yeah. It's
yeah,
challenging but rewarding.
yeah.
Yes,
It is.
exactly.
It is. And I mean, like, I can remember trying to get Vocope on, and we were talking about what and how, and I'd reached out to Tessa to then see if she could, sway him a little, and she come back to me and said, "Oh, he just wants someone who speaks Russian natively on the podcast." And I said, "No problems." And she was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you have someone that speaks native Russian?" "Yes, I do."
Right.
In my
So
bag of tricks. In
the
my bag of
people who
tricks.
help us, the people
Yeah.
who help us reach out to the guest, like from the I ICC server,
Yep.
yeah, and the
Yep.
Monoverse server.
Yep.
Daspo came up with this. Whoever's the winner of the Mono Wars will guest on the podcast, and from the AUSNZ Daily Challenge server, whoever wins will be guest on the podcast and all of that. So to our future guest, with that said, to our future guest, please accept our invitation and be on the podcast. Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to
You'll love it.
be, yes,
Yeah.
let's just
Agreed.
have fun talking, basically.
Uh, agreed. Agreed.
So there.
All right. On that note, we have 2 minutes left for 4:30. Um, let's wrap this up. So thank you everybody for listening. We hope you've found a podcast episode that you haven't listened to, and you're going to go back and have a re-listen, or have a listen again, or listen to it for the first time. Look forward to getting some new guests this year and having some more fun this year. So keep listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch up with you soon. It's definitely goodbye from me for the start of the year.
Oh, see ya. Yeah. Thanks everybody for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Share your comments on the favorite episodes. Would love to hear about it.
I will not say a farewell message, but I will say a happy birthday to Pete message.
Oh no, I thought I was going to get away with it.
No, 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 no. No, 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 you can't.
Hey, can we sing happy birthday?
Let's try.
I
Ready?
don't think you can.
On
Okay.
3. So
3,
1,
2,
2,
2,
1.
3, 2.
Happy
What?
birthday
Happy
to
birthday to you. Happy
Happy
birthday
birthday to
to you. Happy
Happy birthday, dear Pete the Bearded
Happy
One,
birthday.
who's also known as Pete in the game. Happy
Birthday to the best
birthday.
leader of AUSNZ Team 3, Pete. I love you,
Oh,
Pete.
thank you guys. Thank you so much.
Have a wonderful day. Spend it with your family
Will
and yes.
will do.
Yeah, enjoy.
Stay healthy and yeah.
We'll catch
Thank
up
you
soon.
for
Awesome.
everything.
Thank you very
Have
much,
a-
guys.
Have a great week. Have a wonderful week. Enjoy the podcast.
And see you all
Bye, everybody.